Yo, what's going on, guys? Chris Bonner here, Overtime Athletes, and for today's video, what I want to discuss is the key fundamental or foundational movements to increase an athlete's agility and have that translate over to competition. When it comes to agility, right, and change of direction movements, there's a myriad of drills and different types of progressions that we can go on. But what I think that is underutilized or underappreciated from a coaching or athletic standpoint is really building up the threshold of those key foundational movements, right? First and foremost, what we'll start off with is through the foot, right? Where we're really isolating either from a bilateral or unilateral. I'll have my guys go 15 yards back and forth on a single leg on simple pogo hops. Trust me, go try it right now at home, 15 yards and back on one single leg, eliminating the knee and the hip, and you're gonna see how much that foot is gonna fatigue across the ankle. So building up that lower limb is paramount. The other way that we build up the lower limb is through our simple, now true change of direction line hops, right? So we have a simple line where we can go back and forth rapidly, again, being able to accept force and then divert force, okay? We do that from a lateral or in the frontal plane. We also do that linearly back and forth. From there, now that we've lowered or increased the threshold of the lower limb, what are some key fundamental movements that we do now as we get up into the hip, all right? So the big thing that I like to do in the frontal plane is I want to break it down to real basic movement. First one that I really love is going to be the lateral power shuffle, right? So this is where we're working real powerful hip abduction, driving off with the hip, being able to explode almost like a plyometric sense to be able to get into that hip and push out in that frontal plane laterally. Next, what I like to do is I like to focus on just a simple lateral shuffle. However, from a training standpoint, I like to teach my athletes to drop their hips, get their feet extremely wide. This isn't your normal lateral shuffle like you're playing basketball guarding somebody. This, I want to have the athletes extremely wide outside their shoulders, and I want them to keep the feet outside there. I don't want their feet to come inside, right? Almost like I don't want their feet clinking. I want to train this in a wide stance, and I want to train it as fast as they can. I tell the guys, I want quick and ugly, because when you actually see this lateral shuffle, it actually looks pretty ugly, right? But the whole thing is to get them firing in that wide stance, all right? Keep their feet moving in that wide stance. So it's very methodical about how we're training that. That translates over to when I tell them to go lateral shuffle, right? They're not doing that stance, but they're quick and strong and fast in that wide stance if they need to get there, right? So challenging those range of motions. Next, we're gonna work through our karaoke quick step, which I think, again, most guys, most athletes and coaches use this as a warm-up, right? But we utilize this as an actual drill that's gonna enhance their ability to cross over. So the big thing I teach here is to keep their shoulders, hips square, right? And keep their toes forward. A lot of athletes wanna swivel, right? That's great for a warm-up, but when you're teaching that karaoke crossover step, you wanna teach the athlete to A, sync it up with the hand, right? Sync it up with the opposite hand, and you wanna teach them to get that knee hip level, rapidly pick it up, but then also we want them to push it down as fast as we possibly can. So it's not just up, it's speed on the way down, velocity on the way down. Very fundamental movement that you need to be doing as far as your change of direction. Next one we'll do is gonna be basically a crossover run or a look back run. Now, this is basically sprinting or an acceleration movement, but now we're staying square laterally, okay? So the athlete's eyes are either gazed back or they're here. Think about it like this. If you're a defensive back and you're essentially mirroring a wide receiver, if you're a baseball athlete and the ball's hit over your head, whether you're infield or outfield, you see this all the time across the board. This is a skill we can elevate, not only from the eyes perspective, but when you're sprinting in this nature and you're square, you're not moving linearly, your foot is actually going and supporting through that inversion, eversion, right? And you're having to push off. So that down inside leg is stabilizer, the outside leg is actually driving force. Okay, so it's important to understand that these are things that we're really trying to elevate at a high level to then transfer over to better movement. So those are the key fundamentals, guys, and then I get into a certain level of plyometrics, whether that be the single leg lateral broads, right, where we're working force, get into our skater series, and then that's where I start to progress the guys and get them starting to move more. But I think it's extremely important to understand that these drills that are usually just kind of ran through by most athletes and coaches as like a warm-up, as a movement prep, as a prerequisite to get into all these fancy agility, here we're actually stressing the hell out of these actual movements. We're adding volume to them and we're doing them with high quality. And what I notice is when you lay that foundation, just like you lay the concrete to a house, the better, the flatter, the stronger that foundation is, now I get crazy quality movement when I start to add multi-directional, start to add an external or reactionary stimulus to it. So I hope that helps, guys. Just want to kind of give you guys some more insight to this. Hey, if you're interested in a full agility program, make sure you check out the link down below. Game Speed Agility is one of my best sellers. I'll catch you guys next time. Land over your center of mass, absorb the force, control, and then get into your next one.